Hey, what's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to this week's show on the Purple People podcast. It is Monday, September 21st. We just need to let out a cry. Does anyone want to cry with me? Is the season already over?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. Maybe.
No crying, and it's not over.
That is the woe is me. Everything is on fire on Twitter right now, but
We got 14 games left of this, guys. Come on.
I'm excited.
Don't remind me. Don't say that.
I'm very excited. This is going to be one of those seasons, man. But in the meantime, this is episode number 407, Reich On Time, because Frank Reich made the Colts look awesome yesterday. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think they're a 7-win football team, but they got one yesterday. That's just me. No starting running back. Phillip Rivers is there with his weird throwing motion. It was weird. The ghost of Xavier Rhodes showed up. It was a good day.
Oh God.
Yeah, he had
so much to talk about. Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
It's already started, man.
Oh, it's over.
We're going to go over all the conspiracies and all the what ifs and ands and buts, and we're going to try to talk everyone off the ledge today, including ourselves. But I had a new idea for the show, and I'll just go ahead and I'll go last because I don't want to jump in and try to be the attention hog here. Adam Carlson with a fast break in here. What do you think in about 60 seconds? What was your overall impression yesterday?
Well, I tuned into this game thinking this would be the Vikings' opportunity to bounce back after a very disappointing showing against the Green Bay Packers. Instead, the team came out flat. They got dominated in time of possession. And there didn't seem to be that fire that the Vikings had when they had some of the other more emotional players on their roster from seasons past. For me, this was a game that never really felt like it was competitive in the least. Even though the Minnesota was only down 2 scores throughout most of the game, it felt insurmountable, and it was something that just hurt as a Vikings fan to watch because you knew that the talent out there on the field was better than that.
Ugh. Yep. Yeah, that's the whole disappointment speech I had in our chat a couple minutes ago.
Pretty much.
What about you, Kyle? How did you feel when you were getting updates on this game yesterday?
Well, I was able to tune in and watch it after the first quarter. I finally found a live stream and subjected myself to the rest of that shit show. I thought the Vikings looked just woefully unprepared. It didn't look like they had any energy, no fire, never a sense of real urgency that I got from this team. There doesn't appear to be an emotional, leader on this team. The Everson Griffin, we've seen him for the Cowboys out there. He makes plays. He's getting all excited on the sidelines, being like Everson, like we've seen him do all those years. We don't really have anyone like that for the team to rally around. Love him or hate him, Stephon Diggs was kind of that guy on offense for the team too, where he would at least be vocal and be like, hey, guys, come the fuck on. Let's make some plays out here. I really felt that the team is lacking that energy right now. Disappointing loss for sure.
Yep, I hate to be the third peg in this tricycle here, but yesterday's game, I took the notes today just to try to make it quick. This team needs Danielle Hunter back in the worst way possible. And I still don't think that he's going to be the magic trick there. Because you don't have a starting quality nose tackle and you don't have a starting DT. And I'm not trying to have a poo-poo party on Shamar Stephen and Fadi Odenigbo, but up to this point, they're rotational backups. And the Vikings need to go out and find a way to sign Snacks Harrison or some big body, the ghost of that guy, and do something there because a rookie yesterday, now he's a damn fine rookie, had a great collegiate career, but a rookie came in there yesterday and just ran down the Vikings' throat. The Colts had their first 100-yard receiver and rusher in 9 years. The last time that happened, Peyton Manning was still there. And also, the glaring need at guard actually can get worse after Pat Elflein, believe it or not. So this team is lethargic. And yesterday, this was a cool little stat that I found. Holton Hill was dead last in cornerback ratings yesterday. What the fuck?
Awesome.
Woo! Yeah, it was bad. You thought last week against Green Bay that it could have not gotten worse, but somehow it did. It got way worse.
At least last week, we got to see some of that fun garbage time scores to make us feel a little bit better. This week, we got nothing.
I was just going to say, how did this team put up, 34 points last week against the Packers?
In 18 and a half minutes.
How? It doesn't... how?
Yeah, this is a good point.
Thielen, we've seen Thielen get some fire underneath him, and he'll get riled up, and he went after Bill Belichick one time. So I do think that he's a guy that will speak up. I think he needs to maybe... I think maybe he needs to be more of a veteran. I don't know maybe if he sees himself as a veteran on this team just yet, so maybe he needs to figure that out.
Jay Rizzo has a great question. Are we staring down the barrel of a full and complete rebuild? Going out and trading for Yannick Ngakoue? No. When you have all the Pro Bowlers on the team, even the ones that left, you still have Eric.
And all the contracts locked down. It's just you can't even if you wanted to.
This is just a really bad, good team.
Yeah.
And
that article I shared with you. That article I shared with you, Kyle Smith. Financially, the Vikings are not moving on from Kirk Cousins. Like, they just... unless they find someone to trade for him, and I don't know who's trading for Kirk Cousins and taking on that contract.
This is a great segue. Such a great segue. This team is not taking for Trevor Lawrence. It's not happening.
Because
we can get that out of the way.
I never put that in the way.
No. Yeah. I know you didn't, but a lot of people out there, to include myself, for about 3 unexplained minutes were like, this is it. We're the worst team in football. We're worse than Washington. We're worse than, the Bengals. And we're not, because this team's going to win and claw and fight and win some games. And who knows what the final record would be. But there's a ton of people out there, and there's a ton of other podcasts that are like, we need to tank for Trevor Lawrence. How are you going to do that? You paid – Kirk Cousins is here for at least another 2 years, whether you want him here or not.
Yeah.
So – just want to throw that out there for any one of our listeners. If you want to throw that notion out there, as much as I would love to have that kid because he looks like a generational talent, that is not freaking happening.
Yeah. If you draft
Kirk's staring at you disappointedly, Smith.
Mm-hmm. He is. He's staring right at me according to the screen here. I think one of the things that I heard today too, and I don't remember exactly which show it was, just sitting around today, my off time at work, my lunch break, but Kirk Cousins is not one of those guys who can overcome when talent around him falls down. He's not really a lifter-upper. He's one of those like, oh, this is the perfect situation. Cool, I can manage the game and maybe make a splash play here or there. And right now, the offense outside of Adam Thielen doesn't look good. Now, for me yesterday, there was not enough Dalvin Cook in the game, which is beyond me because Zimmer preached about that the last 2 years about how you got to run the ball with Dalvin Cook. Well, do it then.
Well,
okay.
Seeing what happened in week 2 around the league, maybe it's best they didn't.
So, if I can point to one issue that the Vikings have to correct immediately, their general field position for this team, their starting field position, has been absolutely terrible. If we can not start with the ball backed up into our own end zone, you can't run the ball when you're that far backed up, and then these games are just getting out of hand to where you can't even attempt to run the ball with Dalvin Cook. And then you do have to rely on an unproven set of receivers that Kirk Cousins clearly doesn't have any confidence in other than Adam Thielen right now. It's a bad situation for Minnesota at the moment.
If I had to guess, I'd say Minnesota ran fewer than 10 plays across midfield.
Yeah.
Because
I think so.
I was
There's
rooting
no way,
for them to
there's
get
no way
past
it's more
midfield.
than that.
It was disgusting.
Oh, fire breather, you're about 2 minutes too late. We are not going after Trevor Lawrence because we're tied to Kirk Cousins. You are handcuffed to him and that money. And let's be real. Going into the middle of the fourth quarter yesterday, his quarterback rating was 0. You think anybody's going to trade for him and that? He wouldn't be able to get traded for a Cam Newton salary next year because of the way he's playing right now. Now, maybe he'll pull his head out of his ass and maybe he'll have a resurgence like last year. After the first quarter, the Vikings were at 500 and it looked real bad, and then they went on a tear. Who knows? Maybe you get Danielle Hunter back and some fire comes.
Here is the only situation that you could possibly trade Kirk Cousins for. Jimmy G is down for the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, potentially, there's the connection with Kirk Cousins. Maybe, but boy, you're really trying to fit a specific set of circumstances for that one to happen.
I think it's 2 years too late for that. We know that he wanted Kirk Cousins because he likes him. And I think he'd be all right in that system because you just got some big gargantuans running the ball, and that would have been great for him. But
love or hate Kirk Cousins, what are we going to do in the interim? Who are we putting in to replace him with right now?
It ain't Sean Mannion. Let's just get that out there. My dad said that yesterday. My dad's a lifelong Kansas City Chiefs fan. He goes, "You guys are rough, man. Who's your backup?" I was like, "Don't even say that. It's as if the day couldn't get worse. You just made it worse. He's not going in there."
Tebow time.
Despite being locked down with Cousins, Fielman never hesitates to best player in the draft. Yeah, but the problem with that, Sergio, is the Vikings will do this weird and fucking infuriating thing where they'll win enough just to get out of range of somebody they really need.
Yeah.
The last time they had a top 5 pick was what? They had Matt Khalil?
What we could have had Andrew Luck, but then we won a game at the end of the season.
That was that draft, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was that draft. Yep.
Good God. And the next time they had a top 10 pick, they got Anthony Barr, which seemed to work out for the most part. But I don't even know where to start, man. The only highlights that I have from this game, and we can give out game balls now if you have them.
There are highlights.
Eric Kendrick still looks really, really good, and he's the best football player we have on the team right now. Dan Bailey, thank God you're not fucking up the field goals in the extra point.
He's my game ball.
There you go.
Dan Bailey, you put points on the board for us, so there you go.
Yeah.
And
I'm giving mine to Eric. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Kendricks because he's the only other person I can think of that is actually, it looks like they're trying. I mean, Adam Thielen's trying, but he can only do so much.
Right.
Adam Thielen's getting the ball force-fed to him.
Yep.
And it's not that Thielen isn't getting open. Some of these throws are off balance, off target, and it's just a mess. For me, I was really encouraged by what I saw from Justin Jefferson in this game. He was only targeted 3 times, but he hauled in all of them, and he led the team in receiving yards, despite only having 3 targets. If we can see the Vikings use more Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, that would be very beneficial to hoping to move the chains a few more times.
And you know what that makes me think of, Adam? It makes me think of last year, because I remember Colin Cowherd shit all over Kirk Cousins after week 1. He had, 6 pass attempts, I think, the whole game? But they ran the shit out of the football, and that's what this team needs to do, and they need to find creative ways to do it. I don't care if you got to put C.J. Ham and Madison back there, and hey, we just got 7 people blocking for Dalvin Cook. Do something.
Smith, what do I tell you guys all the time on how an offense can get going? 2 things.
Wildcat formation. Jet sweep. End around.
Let's do reverses.
Yeah, reverse.
Slants and
double
screens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I was on Twitter. I was just pounding the table. That get the ball out fast, get things moving, get in a rhythm, open up the run, and then I'd say probably the next drive, Kirk Cousins tries a screen, and it's the ugliest thing I have ever seen. And it didn't set up properly. The offensive lineman didn't get out in front. I'm just looking at my TV like, they can't do this.
Do you guys ever get frustrated on Sundays after a Vikings loss when you watch the evening game and it looks like two professional football teams out there, and then you just remember what the Vikings did earlier in the day, and you're like, why do we look like a high school team? And everyone else
is an all-pro in this league because he can catch slants.
I'm gonna tell you what, just to get my mind off of how pissed I was yesterday, because we know, all the anger and emotion aside, we know this team is super talented. This is a coaching fail, 1,000,000% yet again. Nobody cares that Drew Samia got his ass handed to him the entire game. Nobody cares because
nobody cares that Beastie's not a number 2.
And what to your point, Adam? How many people went down with ACLs and Achilles yesterday?
Yeah.
Nobody cares. This is what the players wanted. COVID made it happen. This is how it's going to go. But I'm just frustrated, and I had to take my mind off of it. And I watched that Patriots-Seahawks game, and it was glorious. It gave me a sense for real football, man. Because Vikings just look lethargic. Now, I will say last week, when you put up garbage time 34 points in 18 minutes, that I could be like, okay, we can build if you don't make terrible mistakes. But the Vikings took another safety yesterday for whatever dumb reason. The refs were terrible. I just don't know. And Kirk Cousins heaving the ball everywhere. Like, there's no rhythm there. There's
Prime time, Kirk.
Oh, God, it was so bad.
The Chiefs game was super amusing. Watching the Cowboys come back was so much fun. And then we got to see the Vikings do whatever they did.
Green Bay decimated the Lions. Green Bay.
Oh, yeah. Green Bay's a good team.
Aaron Rodgers, like you were talking about, Smith, Aaron Rodgers has that ability to just take pieces and players around him, and I'm not knocking Green Bay's roster here, but he's able to just take guys and just make plays with them.
I'm knocking their roster a little bit past Adams. Their receivers are pedestrian at best.
Yeah. Russell Wilson is the same way.
Very, very good.
Russell Wilson can take nobody receivers and make plays out of them too. Kirk Cousins is not of that same mold. He can't take just anyone and make it spin, make it work for him.
I think the most frustrating thing yesterday too was seeing a lot of comparisons over the years for him and Dak, because they've been very close and very similar in a lot of places. Dak Prescott looked damn good yesterday because he's playing for money. He's trying to get that contract. And Kirk Cousins, I mean, granted, Dallas has better weapons now. You still have good players. Your tight end's still reliable. Your running back's top 5. You got a top 10 wide receiver, and it's just not there. I will say the Vikings are not normally known, at least not in my time of watching this team, for going after the best offensive linemen. They kind of do patchwork there, here and there. Sometimes they'll grab a player and maybe they won't. But the fact that Josh Klein's not playing and starting for this team pisses me off. Drew Samia was awful yesterday. Both of the guards, if you looked at the ratings, because I think I sent it to you guys in the chat, both of the guards were awful yesterday. Just awful. And they need help on that line to start, because as much as you want to pass rush and as much as we missed Daniil Hunter, who in my opinion is the best player on this team, and we're missing him horribly, you got to protect your quarterback, because Kirk doesn't have any time back there. As shitty as he looked yesterday, I kind of feel bad for the guy, because he just – I don't know, man.
Kirk had pockets. And his throws were still off. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
It, to me, I was talking to one of my friends about this. We were texting after the game. This looked like Minnesota when you went to watch them in training camp, when it's 3 weeks before the start of preseason, and they just have an absolutely shitty morning practice. Like, that's what that looked like. Mm-hmm. They just don't look prepared for regular season football right now. Out of all the teams to be not prepared for the regular season because of COVID, of course, the Vikings are going to be one of them that looks just not prepared to handle this situation.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most, and I promise I'll be quick on this, is I had such faith because Gary Kubiak took the fucking corpse of Peyton Manning 5 years ago and won a Super Bowl where he had 11 regular season touchdowns and 19 interceptions. And this team has just as much talent. This Kirk Cousins that we saw last year is better than that Peyton Manning of that very last year in Denver. And they won a Super Bowl against the 15-1 Carolina Panthers with MVP Cam Newton, and we can't do it. And I fear, number one, if this keeps going, this coach is absolutely going to get fired. No doubt about it. But number two, have we been misled on people like Stefanski and even DiFilippo? I mean, I know he's not a head coach now, but are we behind the 8 ball with the way that this team is built and the way they're ran now? Did we miss something?
I mean, Flip, I don't think he was not a good
Flip
fit,
wasn't
not a
ready.
good play caller. No, he wasn't ready for a prime time.
What makes you think too about the guy from Kansas City that didn't get a job? I mean, was Eric Bieniemy? What did we get?
Eric Bieniemy was our. Eric Bieniemy was our former running backs coach. He was with Adrian when Adrian first started here in Minnesota. Helped him achieve success. Eric Bieniemy deserves a head coaching spot somewhere in this league for sure. I think Kevin Stefanski was an underrated part of this team because you've got to remember he stuck around through multiple coaching changes through this organization for a reason. He's getting his shot in Cleveland. Cleveland looked better in week 2 than what they did in week 1. So, I do think he was an underrated part of this team. Adam, I don't know. What's your thoughts?
We already know that the offensive coordinator is not going anywhere this year. He's not getting fired.
Yep.
We already know the quarterback's coach not going anywhere. He's not getting fired. They're going to fire Clint Kubiak. That's not going to happen. So what are we going to do with this quarterback situation? Because Kirk Cousins is either playing scared or having the worst season of his career. One of the two. And we don't know which it is. And adjustments are going to have to be made at some level. And the people that have to make those decisions are not going to have their seats get warm in the least. It's a tough situation because there's no real motivator for making those changes for the people that have to do them.
Yeah, and that's also the issue of having where like Mike Zimmer promotes his son, Adam Zimmer, to a co-defensive coordinator position.
Yes.
Like you said, what is Zimmer? He's not going to fire his son from that position midway through the season. And so you gamble a little bit when you do these kind of unorthodox co-defensive coordinator where one of them's your kid. You're taking a gamble on these unusual sort of situations that they have in their coaching room right now. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, where's the sense of urgency? We're kind of stuck.
But that is also their attempt to inject some youth into the coaching staff. Because, yes, there's a ton of experience, but you also need to mix that with some youth and some fresh ideas.
Exactly where I was about to head. I'm stunned that between Dom Capers and Mike Zimmer that they can't figure that out defensively. And I know you're missing some good pieces. Anthony Barr looks like he's going to be out for a while. If you guys didn't hear the news on that, collarbone done. He's going to be out for a minute. But
I believe it was a torn pec.
Was it? I thought it was a collarbone. Excuse me on that.
Ended up being a pec.
Oof. That's even worse. That's a whole season. I mean, he's probably out for the rest of the season. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect him to return.
So I couldn't believe, and Mike Zimmer had alluded to this in one of his pressers, try to vanilla the defense for the young guys, and it still doesn't. It's crazy to me, and they've got this schedule doesn't get easier going forward, man. And my fear is this dead serious. This Vikings team could go 1-5, 1-6 down the stretch, and then what do? The season's lost after that.
Even the games that we circled on the schedule as being easier in the middle don't look as easy anymore.
Hell no. Atlanta, by God, the only team to ever lead the entire game and lose at the end. Lost yesterday, and they're going to be a tough out. The Jaguars aren't going to be a rollover. The
Jake's
Panthers
got fight.
I don't. And then you got Derrick Henry coming to town this weekend. I'm sure I said this on my Facebook post because I was being a smartass.
Oh,
sure,
Derrick.
Yeah. Derrick Henry's going to feast, and then I'm sure Tannehill's going to look like Patrick Mahomes this weekend. I mean, it's just it's so.
Did any of us pick? I don't think. Did any of us pick the Titans to beat us, or for us to beat the Titans when we did our predictions anyway?
No.
I don't think any of us did. Their running back is just gonna run through Minnesota. What's Adrian Peterson? He's got the single season or single game rushing record. How many? 296. Do we need to be on the lookout for that record to be broke?
Yeah, I hope not. I certainly hope not. Because the rookie running back was just getting 7 and 8 yard chunks yesterday.
Yeah, it was tough to watch.
God help us all.
Yeah, like I said, the positive that I saw, Adam Thielen's still playing his heart out. He's getting force-fed the ball, but Kirkley even had overthrows. For that throw in New Orleans that was a throw of his career, Jesus Christ, man. There were some overthrows yesterday. He doesn't trust anyone else to get the ball. Now Eric Kendricks is going to have to do double the work because Barr's going to be out. And I'm just praying in the worst way that by come week 4 for Houston, Danielle Hunter's back. But we don't even know if he's going to come back then. Truthfully, we have no idea.
Eric Wilson was decent the first 2 weeks. So I feel good about Eric Wilson. But the third linebacker, I think they're going to have to bring in Troy Dye. And I don't really know what to expect from Troy Dye.
Disaster.
You know who we're still missing? Linval Joseph. They're in the middle of that defensive line. We're missing big old Linval.
When Michael Pierce opted out, that changed a lot. And I think Michael Pierce would have that Linval Joseph presence in the middle, but now we're stuck looking at, as much as I enjoy Armon Watts, he's struggling as well. And Jaleel Johnson isn't quite panning out.
I'm not even joking. What's Tom Johnson up to right now? Can we get him off the couch?
Dude, I've seen it, and I've seen it on other podcasts. Andy's podcast, I've seen it on a couple of the Twitter pages.
People calling for snacks?
Go call him. What do you have to lose?
What
the
money?
D-line's already tiny. I don't care. Figure that out.
Salary cap's a myth anyway.
If you can figure out up until this
true.
point all that bullshit that the Vikings cap has done, you can figure out how to sign Snacks Harrison. You got to have somebody in there to stop the run, man. Ugh. And that's the thing.
You're right. We just need
like step one player.
We just need that big old body in the middle.
Hunter, and then if him and Unique could get together, and hopefully that does happen next weekend, not this coming. If you get in a big body, it could just do so many wonders. Because I saw like Jeff Gladney, I saw him in coverage. He's on his man. He looks good, but he's a rookie. These guys are going to shift, and they're going to turn, and they're going to be able to catch the ball around him. But if he has more time and a little bit of help, I feel like that would at least take some of the pressure off. Where Phillip Rivers doesn't look good because he looked okay yesterday, and
Phillip Rivers is a statue at the quarterback position. He should, he should not be
throws with the tips.
He looks like he's got complete arthritis in his throwing shoulder at this point. I mean, he should not have been doing. It's just frustrating. Yeah, he's gonna cook us like Thanksgiving turkey.
It's gonna be rough. I'm sure they'll try to game plan for it, but they've got a stud wide receiver too. What's the AJ Brown? Is it his name?
And the Titans' defense isn't a joke either.
Nope.
No.
They got some quality players there.
And I do think a culmination of things too, like we had mentioned last week, not having fans there, it's a big time deal.
Absolutely.
Big time deal.
Yep.
Just because this game where they're going to host the Titans is in Minnesota, that doesn't mean anything this year.
No. Home field advantage is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a big thing for them. Do you think about since US Bank's been open, they've won like over 75% of their games there. That's a big deal. That's an absolute big deal. But that's out the window now. It's just it feels like this is that Murphy's Law season where anything and everything that can go wrong will. And it's hard to find the faith now. We're going to keep chugging along with this team, and I'm sure at some point they're going to find a way to win. But my only bright spots I see so far are special teams, and I'm not even talking KJ Osborne, even though he looks okay. I'm talking about the punter and the kicker.
Even the punting wasn't great this game.
No, there was a couple bad punts, couple high short punts.
And penalties
didn't help us out.
Christ, how many penalties did they have yesterday?
Illegal contact to flag.
Illegal contact. 4 or 5 of those. I just scratching my head on there. Now the referees weren't doing the Vikings any favors yesterday, but good Lord, man. It's growing pains that you kind of wish you had a preseason for right now, but
yeah,
it's rough. And I don't take any, we don't, all three of us actually don't take any stock in like power rankings. But when you look at them coming out tomorrow, the Vikings are going to be in the top 5 worst. Promising you it. They're going to be up there with the Jets. And that's not saying much.
Well, last week they averaged around 16.5 on power rankings. I expect them to drop under 20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking lower than that.
Yeah, I'd say the Vikings would probably be around 25.
I just think based on that terrible stat line that Kirk Cousins put up before he padded it out there a little bit at the end, and even with the padding, it was not that good.
The Giants got to be moving towards the bottom, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because that team is a dumpster fire.
For you guys that didn't hear what Adam's referencing, Saquon Barkley, the stud running back from the Giants, he's out for the season with a torn ACL. I believe Nick Bosa and Raheem Mostert from the 49ers are out. Jimmy Garoppolo's out for a little while.
Yeah, I just got the update.
Week.
Just got the update from ESPN. Nick Bosa's out with an ACL for the rest of the season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert's out. That was good news for Jerick McKinnon, former Viking running back. He's the first time he's been on the field in over 2 years. So he got a little play yesterday. But Christian McCaffrey's out for a couple of weeks with an ankle injury. I mean, it was just – and then the Colt player yesterday, I forget his name. Shout out to my buddy Matthew Titus. He's probably listening right now. Big Colts fan that lives in Minneapolis. Saying that guy been ravaged with injuries the last couple of years, and he left with an Achilles yesterday, I believe. So it's just all around. The injury bug is going to bite a lot of people this year, but still no excuse, man. Still no.
Mike Boone is in concussion protocol for the Vikings. He got hurt on a special teams play.
I didn't know that.
It was in the Discord chat. You want to catch up on everything? Discord chat. Good place to be during Vikings games.
You know what? I'll be there next week. I'm really glad I wasn't yesterday. I would have been such a Debbie Downer for you guys. Just angry at the whole
There wasn't
world.
a lot of uplifting stuff going on in there anyway. The name Trevor Lawrence came up a lot.
Thanks,
Christian Ponder. Any Christian Ponder references when Cousins tossed the 3 interceptions there?
No, but on Twitter I was seeing some Josh Freemans.
That's worse.
Fair.
Ponder. I remember a game where Ponder threw 3 touchdowns to get the Vikings into the playoffs. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Josh Freeman's probably the ultimate jab, especially that Monday night game in New York. Oh, oof. Man.
I don't know. I'll always remember the first throw that Donovan McNabb threw as a Viking.
Adam, you read my mind, because I was just going to say that this start that Cousins has had to this season is as bad, if not worse, than that start that Donovan McNabb had that eventually got him benched. Legitimately, the only thing keeping Kirk going right now is his contract and not having any kind of a backup.
Yeah, he has no competition on the team
behind him.
None.
It's crazy how much they believe in him, too, because most teams wouldn't do that. I mean, look at Chicago. Mitch Trubisky looks way better than Kirk Cousins does this year, and they got a Super Bowl MVP backing him up.
Yeah.
Minnesota, what the fuck are you guys doing? And the thing is, we've never gotten to this point in this era of Mike Zimmer here, the Kirk Cousins era. We haven't reached that. Even the 8-7-1 season, there were some hard-fought games. You still had your own destiny in your hands come week 17. I don't know what the stats are, but 0-2, looking this bad, making the playoffs, even with an extra team getting in this year and going forward, it ain't looking bright for the Minnesota Vikings this year. And it's really tough because it's one of those things where it's not like you're in a canoe and there's one hole and maybe you can patch it up. It's literally a boulder just fell through and you're like, I don't know where to start to fix this. You want the pass rush to help the secondary who looks young and weak. One of your starting linebackers is out. The guards are absolutely inept. We don't have a number 2, 3, or 4 wide receiver. I mean, let's keep it real. Justin Jefferson, I think he's going to be good in time, but he's not ready to take over a number 2 spot. They're missing Stephon Diggs in a bad way right now, and I hate saying that.
Diggs is balling out in Buffalo.
Not going to do that stat line.
Diggs with more yards receiving than the entire Vikings.
There it is. Yep, there it is. Oh, yeah, they're missing him in a bad way. I think if we just have to break it down, if we're going to be armchair coaches, I think we're going to have to go back old school with this team and just run the shit out of the football and then try to build it from there. Seems like when you establish the run, and you got a runner to do it. It's not like your running back is terrible.
Maybe sprinkle in some slants and screens.
Hey, there we go. What's the Vikings email address? Maybe we can get a hold of Zimmer and the boys this week and be like, hey, can you guys run the ball?
Mike Z at Vikings.com.
He would have like an AOL email address, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
I've got a Hotmail, so I can't say nothing.
That's a good point. But yeah, that was an abysmal game.
I have an AOL too, so I don't know. I'm 40. I'm old as hell.
I'm not going to go over the stats from this game. It was pretty bad. Yannick Ngakoue did.
You got to talk about Cousins. You got to talk about that.
Let's talk about
you
it.
have to.
I will say that the Vikings get their first sack from Yannick Ngakoue, which is nice to see that he had a little bit of life, maybe one or two.
And after that sack, he showed some emotion. He was getting into it. He was chasing.
Right.
He was doing things. So that was nice to see.
He'll be good for Minnesota. I think he'll pan out. That's a good signing. Just got to give him some time.
All right, here it is, boys. Kirk Cousins, 11 completions, 26 attempts, 113 yards, average of 4.3, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks, QBR 9.3. Rating was 15.9. In the fourth quarter, at some point, his rating was a 0. Just so we're clear. It was bad.
For reference, QBR is out of 100, correct?
Yes.
He got less than 10.
Not 10.
And what were you saying, Kyle, about Christian Ponder? What was the worst game that he had? You mentioned it in the chat.
I don't remember. Adam, you found the stat. What do you remember what it was?
I don't remember.
I'm going to find it while you guys filibuster and talk about that because it's
I want to say it was somewhere between 16 and 8.
There's an 8, and 8 seems to stick out in my mind for that one.
Because that was very, very ugly. This game was really tough though because you just expect more from Kirk Cousins. You see him and you know that he can bring this team to wins. He can hit open receivers, and receivers were open, but he just was not able to connect. And it was very disappointing.
There you go, Andrew. Here it is. So we put this out yesterday. I don't see the time. Let me see if it has it in here. Ben Gessling on Twitter yesterday. Kirk Cousins is 6 of 19 for 59 yards and 3 INTs. Passer rating is 1.8. So obviously we finished a little bit higher than that. 8.3 is Ponder's lowest game. So you're about 1.5 points higher than Christian Ponder's worst game. This is bad, guys. This is real bad.
8.3?
8.3. I'm still pissed off, too, that the Vikings took 2 sacks 2 weeks in a row. This is actually, if you want to count the regular season, 3 consecutive games with safeties. Now, I know last year they were already in the playoffs. They didn't start anyone. But the fact of the matter is, 1, that rule is bullshit because if he's running forward, it shouldn't be able to be counted as a sack because I think they blew it dead. But you can't set him in that situation. You can't put him in there. Good God. And Kirk, you got to get rid of the damn ball, man. That's super frustrating. Do we want to move on to Tennessee and preview that game, or do we just want to just light everything on fire?
Well, I do want to do a quick thing before I forget about the Survival League. I forgot to update last week to let you guys know on the Facebook page. I did not do an update with the scores and everything, but I'm happy to announce that this week everybody who chose a team was right. No strikes handed out for wrong picks. However, 3 people did not pick a team, so they got strikes. And those 3 individuals are the only ones with 2 strikes heading into week 3.
That one of those people would be me. I forgot about that. I did not see an email about that last week.
Not good, Smith. Not good.
Not good at all. Let's try to pick one for next week.
Next week's a tough one.
None
of the games are really stand out too much to me as, that should be a good win. Drew Smith can't block worth. Wow. I mean, it was brutal. It really was.
And to give him, I'm not giving him. Oh my God, it's so bad. What's his name? DeForest Buckner? Yeah, that's a hard guy to block. So that's tough. Welcome to the NFL, I guess.
And I think that we were so frustrated with this game. Did we even give away donkeys?
The whole team. I mean,
I think we just kind of assumed, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and what's crazy is like I got a little. I won't say that you guys give me flack for it, but I could see a little bit of like, maybe I don't give it to him. I don't think anybody would be mad at me for giving Mike Zimmer a game or a donkey this week. This is real bad. I don't want to give it to him though. It's hard not to look at Kirk Cousins and be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's hard to look past that, but I think even more disappointing than looking at all the bad plays, the opposite is like, okay, well, let me find some light, which we gave our game balls away, but it's literally, it's like the only options you had. It's not like you got to pick and choose between people who stood out. Nobody stood out.
I still don't get what the Vikings see in Shamar Stephen. I don't get it.
Yeah. I have nothing.
Then again, Trevor Siemian, Sean Mannion, didn't see that either, so I don't know. There's a reason I'm at home sitting in this computer chair and not in a comfy office in Minnesota, so.
Can we get some Ezra Cleveland out there on the offensive line yet?
Please?
Something.
Can we try? I mean, it can't be any worse.
This comment is the best one I've heard in weeks. Oh, man. That's funny. Well, the Tennessee Titans are 2-0, and that's great. You know?
So they're 4 games ahead of the Vikings then.
Ryan Tannehill has almost 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. Looking good. Derrick Henry has 200 rushing yards. Probably add another 150 to that Sunday. Corey Davis, good wide receiver, leads the team. This is going to be a tough game for them because you got to think this was an AFC Championship team last year. Now their kicker he started out rough week 1, but he has bounced back at the end of that game, and then this game too. He rebounded the game winner. This is going to be a tough game for the Vikings. I don't like this matchup at all. But I guess if there's any small positive, Unique Ngakoue used to play this team a lot. So
are any of us predicting a Vikings win?
No.
I'll wait for Houston. I think we could beat Houston.
This team's looking bad.
Yeah, Houston looks pretty bad. Feel bad for Deshaun. I mean, I don't because he got paid, but feel bad for Deshaun Watson.
Well, he's my fantasy quarterback, and guess what? He's getting benched in week 3 for Gardner Minshew.
Oh,
do it.
Okay.
Do it, Adam.
Oh man, Viking Jerome spitting the truth today. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not liking it. I don't like the matchups there. Maybe in week 4 they can find a win and have something in the positive column for the first quarter of the season. But this can be rough. If they do win, it'll be a total surprise for all of us. And that's kind of the theme that I've seen along all Vikings media podcasts around that I took in today. It's we don't really know where to start to start fixing anything. There's a lot of stuff. It's like where do you begin to try to fix it? But yeah, you gotta blame Zimmer on this one. I love him to death. I don't want to see him leave. So hopefully he can find a way to get the ball rolling. They can run the ball better. They can stop the run. The 2 classic ideas that might help you.
If this team is going to start anywhere, Mike Zimmer is supposed to be the cornerback coach, the cornerback whisperer, so he can start with that secondary and get them rolling. That would be as good of a place to start as any.
John, I like your general manager skills. You got to hit on one of them. That's right.
Until the Vikings can pressure a quarterback, the defense is going to struggle to get off the field. And until the defense can stop letting people run right up the gut, the Vikings are not going to get off the field. So the only way that Minnesota is going to win time of possession is by picking up first downs on offense. And guess what? Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon.
That's a brutally honest review of the situation there, Adam.
It's a good point.
Something's got to get fixed, and they can help each other if one of them can make things work. If the offense can give the Vikings a little better field position on defense, maybe they can get something working. If the pass rush can get going and help out the secondary, maybe they can get some stops, get the offense a little closer to the end zone.
And in turn, you're going to fix that time of
one piece
possession
does
issue.
something. Oh, time of possession's brutal. Field position's awful.
Yeah, it's bad in every sense of the way. Yeah, all the things you mentioned, though, especially that time of possession thing. We got to stop having 3 and outs. The defense is getting worn out, and like you said, that crappy field position as well. Penalties. I mean, it's everything. Everything is bad. So, yeah, everything sucks. It's hard. It's weird because I've seen the Vikings be really bad, but they had bad personnel. Like, you're trotting out Christian Ponder out there thinking, oh, God, or thinking Matt Castle's going to lead you to the promised land. No, he's not. That seems the Vikings have really good personnel and go 13-3, even with a backup quarterback. But this is such a weird thing because this team on paper isn't bad.
No. There's some really good pieces. And they've paid really good pieces to play.
And you're going to take some losses because of the cap, and some of the guys, like Xavier Rhodes wasn't playing well. You want to try to move along, but you have mostly continuity. I guess we didn't realize the value of a Linval Joseph or an Everson Griffin, but dear God, man, that's what your coaches are for, I thought.
Moving on from Xavier Rhodes wouldn't have been so bad if they weren't moving on from Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander at the same time.
Yep.
Right on.
Should have handled that injury better last year from Mackenzie Alexander. Maybe he would have stuck around.
Or if they would have drafted Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, he's like, what was that? He's like the what rated corner right now in the league?
I don't know, but he's playing pretty darn good football out there for Tampa.
I thought I read somewhere that it was like 6th.
Yeah, I think it's 6 or 7. I'm not sure.
He's playing his ass
Wouldn't
off.
that be nice? Wouldn't that be fun to have right now?
But what are you going to do with them? I mean,
you know what? It would be nice.
Safeties on the field?
Yeah, I was about to say that would be nice because we have safety depth.
Yeah.
That's we cannot talk about safeties in depth. Don't even manifest that shit into existence. That's the last fucking thing.
We're gonna put George Iloka out there at corner here in a little bit.
Can we talk though about the Vikings not learning anything and doing another deeper play action drop in the end zone? They got this one off, so that's better. But they didn't learn anything from last time they got sacked.
There's a reference. There's a guy I'd forgotten about.
Oof.
That I wished I could permanently forget about. Yeah, the Kubiak play calling is terrible right now. I don't know why.
That comment right there is what spurned my drop back play action end zone call.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I understand the play, 3rd and 17 draws, just there's no play to make a fan drop their head more.
A draw on 3rd and 17.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, sometimes you'll pick it up once out every 50 times, maybe.
Once in a your running back is a Hall of Fame Adrian Peterson shot,
Right.
maybe. Not to knock Dalvin Cook, but he's no Hall of Fame running back, at least not yet.
Yet.
He's not a.
See, we're still Vikings fans. We hold out the hope.
Yes, slants and screens, John. Slants and screens.
Adam was just singing this praise earlier, and you were totally correct.
Mm-hmm.
And this is nuts, man. What a terrible game. I thought, like we said earlier to start the show, I thought it could only get better from that Packers game, and I was dead ass wrong.
Yeah.
So there was nothing good about this football game from this team. I don't care that Dalvin Cook scored and got a 2-point conversion. Don't care. This garbage time stuff.
I mean, it was nice for my fantasy team.
I'll tell you who's good for my fantasy team. Aaron Jones yesterday with like 40 points. Good God. Woo. Makes me sad. I had to give a Packer credit, but
They're playing good football. Vikings aren't. That's all I have. You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope, you read my mind. We're done bitching. We're not giving up on the team. We will be here for the next 14 games because I think that's about it. But something's got to give before it all breaks. So we shall see. The Vikings host the Tennessee Titans at noon Central, 1 Eastern this Sunday, and I guess we'll talk about it. We'll have a Discord chat up. We'll remind you tonight, just like Adam talked about 10 minutes ago, do the survival league. I'm screwed. I've already got 2 strikes. We're only 2 weeks in. So
I don't have a strike, so come on, guys. This year I'm playing. I'm not throwing the towel in. So you guys are going to have to beat me.
I forgot to sign up for it.
I made a terrible pick in week 1, and then I forgot week 2, so that's great. Oh, here you go. Good advice. That's what Kyle West told me to do today.
See, I end up drinking a lot of coffee, and then I just have the jitters, and it's not good.
Angry jitters.
Then you got all this energy and nowhere to have an outline, and then you end up yelling at your cat for splashing in the water dish, and it's just not good.
We certainly hope the Vikings can find a way to muster up a win. Don't care how we get it. Don't care. They need to win in the worst way. I think this team is the most in need of a win team in the NFL right now. Absolutely not even close. But
especially if they want to catch up to the 2-0 Chicago Bears.
Do you know what would be the most Vikings thing to happen right now? If they go out and drop like 40 points on this Tennessee. Yeah. No, if they drop like 40 points on the Titans next week, and we're just like, what happened?
My next guess was Love Boat too, so I'm glad you didn't let me go.
I hate that you said that. Let's go in and promote some stuff, shall we? Adam Carlson, you're up, sir.
Yeah, I've been writing articles over the Viking Age. Excuse me. I did my best and worst from the game, which that was interesting because I did find a few good things, a few silver linings from that game. Not many. Gotta say the bad stuff was easier to write. But I've got the offensive and defensive MVPs, which should be coming out soon. And of course, the team over at Undead or over at the Viking Age does great work, and they're always writing something. So be sure to check that out. Over on Undead Walking, we got a little surprised with The Walking Dead launching its own Twitch channel. And now fans can go there, watch episodes with hosts and chat, and it's a great time. Now, this is all in addition to October, bringing episode 1016 of The Walking Dead, Walking Dead World Beyond, and Fear the Walking Dead all to your television sets, as well as The Walking Dead Deluxe to your comic book shops. So there's a lot of Walking Dead coming in October, and some new stuff for you right now. You can check out stuff on all of it over on Undead Walking. Also, I have my own Twitch channel. Haven't been on it in a little while, but I think I'm going to go play some Fall Guys either tonight or tomorrow. So come watch me play poorly and laugh when my guy falls off things.
I've seen this. One of my buddies plays that game.
I have yet to master that game.
It's not easy, and now that they've updated and took out a lot of my little workarounds, it's even more challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Darn them and their updates.
It's a lot of fun. It's a difficult game, and it seems like if you play any other game, you look at Fall Guys and you're like, oh, I ought to be able to do that, and it's just, I just want to throw my controller at the TV screen.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Frustrating and rewarding at the same time.
Yeah. I've never made it past round 2.
I've got 1 crown, and I almost had a second the very next game, but I didn't know you had to grab the crown at the top of Fall Mountain. Otherwise, I would have had 2 crowns. Instead, I just bounced off of it like a dumb bean. Dumb bean.
Oh, that's what makes that game so fun. I see I have an opportunity to plug my photography stuff right now.
Do it!
You can check out using the link at the bottom of the screen, along with my merchandise, Purple People podcast stuff. which you should check out because you can get our logo on lots of cool product. T-shirts and hats and mugs and stickers and all kinds of other stuff. So check it out.
And
You
you've got
might
great
see something you like.
location shots, nature
Actually,
shot, and other
Yeah.
wonderful artwork.
Well, thank you. One of my coworkers actually just ordered two of my photos on some notebooks, some like spiral notebooks, and they're really like quality stuff. I'm really impressed with how well the printing turns out on this one. So I'm a fan of it.
Was one of them that cool business door?
No, not that one. It was
That's
what
a
did
neat
she order?
picture.
She ordered the one. Yeah, thank you. It was the one that Kyle Smith liked. It was the one where I had the playing cards and some of the dice and stuff. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that one. I'll have to go
It
take
was up
another
on my
look.
Instagram account. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. That one's up on my Instagram account or up on my photography thing. So that was pretty cool. I did like a royal flush, like laid out with with some other stuff, some dice and some other nerd things around it. That I really liked how that one turned out. I think that was a cool
Nice.
shot. Yeah.
Our Vikings are fall guys this year. Yeah, they are. They are, Andrew.
I'm not going to plug anything of mine. Just hope that if you stuck around this far, you'll give this video a like on YouTube. And these are places that you can follow us. And I'm sure some of you that joined us already do. But if you wanted to do us an extra favor, share our Facebook page or YouTube channel to your social media and just like refer a friend or something. And thank you guys for joining us. This is a rough week. But just like last week, we're excited that football is back, even if it's bad football. And just got to find some way to keep the faith. I'm sure
These episodes are always a lot more fun when we can fill up this chat room here and we can bounce off each other with ideas and questions and comments. So please, if you know anyone that you think would have some fun in here talking about Vikings football for an hour with us, invite them in. It'd be great.
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
You know what I always thought was fun? Remember when we had a couple fans from other teams? We had that guy that was an Eagles fan.
Oh, yeah.
That would come in and would chit-chat with us, but they were actually, like, cool about it.
Yeah.
And not just there to troll. I always thought that was a lot of fun, too.
Hey, remember we got death threats from Jaguars fans?
I do remember
I
that.
bet they're like, hey, Vikings, suck it now. We got a better quarterback than you do.
All because I said that I hated their quarterbacks?
Let's be fair. Blake Bortles was terrible. That's a good point.
But
Not the
let's
old
get
man
going
too bad.
before we dive
Bortles
too much
still
into
in the
other
league?
awful things.
Yeah, I think he's the backup in L.A. to Jared Goff.
Well, thanks again for everyone
Yeah.
joining us in the chat, interacting with us on social media. Maybe we'll start doing some social media questions again. I don't know. Maybe. But we do Discord. So hop on in there during games, chat with us, because, heck, it makes watching games a little bit more fun and a little easier to swallow sometimes. But yeah, thanks again to everybody. And remember, stay classy, Minnesota.